Welcome back everybody to the channel. My name is Davis Morgan. Today I'm going to talk about 5 of my favorite Beatles songs and why I love them so much. These aren't my absolute top 5 favorite Beatles songs, nor are they presented in any particular order. These are just 5 songs that I really love and I wanted to talk about today. Remember, as always, to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I make music appreciation videos about the Beatles and other bands that I really love. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help me out. I make these videos in my spare time when I'm not at work or hanging out with my wife. But anyway, let's get into it. Number 1, Martha, My Dear. Martha, My Dear has pretty much everything that I want in a Paul song. It starts off with a really fun piano melody that Paul wrote as sort of a piano exercise before turning it into a full song later. Paul has publicly stated that this song is just a silly song that was meant to be sung to his English sheepdog Martha, but the lyrics definitely come across as someone singing to their muse and trying to convince them to be with them. This song also has some really fun orchestration that comes in at the "Hold Your Head Up, You Silly Girl" section that is very just Paul sounding. You get these tubas and trombones playing these booming 1s and 5s in the bass. It's a very similar low line that would later be used on When I'm 64. And then moving into the next section, we get the traditional rock band instruments that come in while Paul begs his lover to see that they were meant to be together the entire time. Overall, it's just a very positive song that is a ton of fun to play on the piano. I remember hearing my oldest brother playing it one day on our piano back in my childhood home and being just so intrigued by the melody. It's just so fun sounding. And I think it says something that piano melody immediately captivated me when I was 7 or 8. It really shows you just how catchy and beautiful the Beatles music is. It's so easy to connect with even when you don't know what they're singing about. And I should also point out that Martha, My Dear does feature on the Beatles' self-titled album, which is commonly referred to as the White Album. We're going to talk about a few other songs on that album later in this video. Number 2, I Want You, She's So Heavy. The last song on the A side of Abbey Road, I Want You, is an incredible song that features so much repetition, but somehow it never gets old, at least to me. The opening guitar riff that is repeated throughout the song is something that I can only describe as sinister. It's sure to stick in your head for days after you listen to it. I know it gets stuck in my head all the time. And fun fact, the BBC once pointed to this song as an example of the banalities of pop music. This, of course, sounds insane today, but I got several comments on my last video about the Beatles of people insisting that I could never truly appreciate the band because my generation only makes garbage music. So if you are an older Beatles fan, then maybe reconsider calling all modern music terrible, because you could one day sound just as foolish as the BBC did back when the song was released. But anyways, this song showcases the influence of Yoko Ono on John's writing style, just going for a minimalist approach to the lyrics and music with the same line repeated over and over. But that is one of the main reasons that I love this song so much. It shows off the band's incredible ability to just jam out and riff on a core musical idea. I also love the heavier Beatles music, and this song literally has heavy in the title, so there you go. Number 3, Good Night. I knew I wanted to put a song that heavily featured Ringo on this list, and while John was the one who wrote this song, he had Ringo sing it, and I think that was a really great choice. This is another track on the White Album and features some absolutely lovely orchestration that also makes me feel so nostalgic for a time that I wasn't even alive for. It is just a perfect lullaby, and it's something that I'll for sure sing to my future children. The strings playing the main melody always gets me a little emotional too. I guess that's just the power of a perfect melody. The song is also notable because Ringo is the only Beatle to actually appear on the track. George Martin was the one who arranged and conducted the orchestra during the recording. In a way, the song features what I would consider the 2 unsung heroes of the Beatles. I'm glad that Ringo sings this one, as his voice has always had a gentle quality to it, and that fits this lullaby absolutely perfectly. I had known for a while that this song was written by John for his son Julian, but it wasn't until I read Steve Turner's A Hard Day's Right that it was revealed to me that Julian had no idea until Turner interviewed him decades later. Some critics of the Beatles call this song overly sentimental and sappy, but I think there's something magical about it, and I love to listen to it while I'm out on the beach under the stars. Just a perfect lullaby, a perfect nighttime song. Number 4, Dear Prudence. Talk about another song with a simple intro that knocks you off your feet every time you listen to it. The way the bass note of the melody walks down is so hypnotic to me. This is another song that is super fun to play on the piano. This is also another song that features on the White Album and was written in reference to Prudence Farrow, who was attending a meditation and mindfulness course in India that the Beatles were also attending. She was really into the course and was always rushing back to her room to do solo meditations after the group meditations, and seemed to have no time to mess around or enjoy herself, and the Beatles found this rather odd. This song is a simple request for her to come out and play with the rest of them. In that way, the song is quite sweet and reads kind of like one friend trying to get another one to come out of their shell. It's another one of those Beatles songs that is just very optimistic, asking Prudence to greet the world where the sun is up, The sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you. I also love that the start of this song seems to be the screeching of an airplane touching down on the runway. The previous song being Back in the USSR hints to this. I guess the band is now back from being back in the USSR. But Dear Prudence is just an incredibly lovely and captivating song that includes so much of what makes the music of the Beatles so captivating and inspiring to a lot of people. While there was often some trouble behind the scenes with the group, the music was almost always uplifting and positive, which I really love. And number 5, The End. This is the last track on Abbey Road, if you're not counting the hidden track, Her Majesty, which I don't really. It's a good song, but it was meant to be included in the medley originally, so I don't consider it really the end of the album. It's just a hidden track. The End is a song that's just a perfect send-off. It features a Ringo drum solo that was very, very rare to happen at the time. He famously did not like playing drum solos, and then it also features alternating guitar solos from Paul, John, and George in their respective styles. It is a song with so much class and bombast and energy, and is a truly perfect way to end an album as amazing as Abbey Road. And after all the dust has cleared from the drum and guitar solos, we get the final line of the album and what could be interpreted as a sort of theme for the Beatles as a whole. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. And with that, I think I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for your supportive comments on the last video. I was truly not expecting to get so many views, and it's now my most viewed video of all time, which is really cool. I have loved hearing the input from so many of you that were around when the Beatles were huge, and I hope you could find enjoyment in my appreciation of the band as well. I'm not an expert and I don't claim to be. I'm simply a guy who grew up with an iPod full of Beatles music and has loved it ever since I was a little kid. Like I said, it's kind of just my perspective on things because I am from the younger generation, but this music still speaks to me in a way that I think probably spoke to a lot of you guys when you were younger. It's just insane how the Beatles music kind of transcends time and transcends generation with just how next level it was. It's still beyond so much. I'd argue it's beyond anything that's being written today. Please remember to subscribe. Like I said before, it really does help out the channel, and I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers before April. I just recently passed 900, so I'm almost there. And also, feel free to drop your favorite Beatles songs in the comments down below, or if you have a song in here that I mentioned that you're not a fan of, you can say that too. Again, these are just 5 songs that I really love. They're not my absolute 5 favorite. In fact, a lot of my favorite Beatles songs, the ones that I consider the best of the best, aren't on this list. I'm hoping to do more videos in the future that talk about more of my favorite Beatles songs. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.